Hello everyone and welcome to Blog Runner Everything, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another video where we're going to be doing two things really. One very brief thing is going to be talking about, of course, that Gundogan transfer to FC Barcelona, which is now official, and the second is going to be taking a look at Vitor Roque, and we're going to be doing that player profile for him just like we did in the previous video for Mika Yofe. If you haven't yet seen it, you can I'll link it in the description and over here as well, so you can go ahead and have a look at that. But we're going to just talk about exactly what kind of player he is, his style, his strengths, weaknesses as well, and most importantly how exactly he is going to fit into Xavi's plans. So the first section here is just going to be me recapping the news regarding Gundogan, and after that we'll have that sort of deep dive into Vitor Roque and what exactly to expect from him. And I think you're going to be, or at least if you're like me, you're going to be pretty excited by what you're going to hear in as far as what we can expect from Vitor Roque, and fingers crossed that he'll be able to deliver. Okay, so if all of that sounded nice to you, please do hit that like button, and also if you haven't yet, hit subscribe, because I'll be doing more of these videos as well. We'll talk about what we can expect from Gundogan, and also looking at guys like Fabrizio Diaz, who's still being linked with Barca. We'll also look at what we can expect from them. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and talk about Ilkay Gundogan, who on Wednesday we finally got the news. Now I was pretty upset not really upset, but let's just say I was a bit irritated when the news finally broke, because the whole of Tuesday I had been waiting for that news update, since initially it had been reported that we'll get that news by Tuesday, and I waited the whole of Tuesday. The update didn't come, and I was thinking I can't hold off on uploading, so I uploaded, and literally less than an hour after I uploaded that video, I saw the news finally breaking, talking about Ilkay Gundogan is going to sign for FC Barcelona. So it took a while, of course, for him to make up his mind, but that's because there were quite a few offers on the table. We now know that PSG also got interested in him and did make a rather hefty offer to sign him. So you can add that to the big offer as well that came from Saudi Arabia, as well as the other lucrative offer that came from Arsenal. It's being reported though right now that of the 5 offers he had on the table, the lowest one was actually from Manchester City and not FC Barcelona, which I did find a bit surprising. So yeah, Man City didn't offer him as much as Barcelona did, or didn't offer him as long of a contract as Barcelona did. But then we also have the likes of Arsenal, who did offer him more money, did offer him a comparably just about the same kind of contract Barcelona was offering him, 2 + 1 year deal, which is what, of course, Gundogan has signed on to for FC Barcelona. It's going to be a 2 + 1 deal, so it's 2 years guaranteed. So he'll be 34, and at the end of that, 2-year deal, when he's 34, there's then the option of a 1 year, which I'm guessing is going to have to be mutual between two parties rather. So Ilkay Gundogan is in a bag, and that just adds to a rather long list of free transfers that FC Barcelona have been able to negotiate, which I would say have actually served them well, because I think maybe with the exception of Eric Garcia, I mean, you're looking at guys like Memphis Depay, who did well. You're looking at guys like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. You're looking at guys like Dani Alves. You're looking at guys like Christensen and Kessie. Of course, there's also the Aguero one, which didn't go the way that we would have wanted, but hopefully here with Ilkay Gundogan, it's going to go much better, and to be a lot more like we expect. And I would say it's probably the best of the lots, because unlike all the other ones which I had named here, the Christensens and Kessies and Alveses and Eric Garcias and Agueros, Gundogan is coming really at the peak of his power, really the best point of his career that we're getting him. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of good service out of him. Anywho, that's basically that, and as far as that update goes. So from here on now, it's just going to be all about Vitor Roque. It's going to be all about his playing style, what we can expect from him, and I hope that you enjoy it. This is the last you'll be seeing of my face in this video. It's just going to be footage of Vitor Roque coming from here, just to illustrate exactly some of the points that I am trying to make. Alrighty then, let's talk about Vitor Roque and exactly what Barcelona are getting with the player that he is. Let's just list off some of the strengths I think from his game, not just from what I've watched, but also from generally what a lot of other people are going to be able to tell you. The first thing about him, I think, is of course Barcelona signing him to play as a backup number 9, or a number 9. Since there's no such position on the pitch as backup number 9. Barca signing him to play as a number 9, but he is also quite capable of playing at left wing and at right wing. So Barcelona are signing a player who can play across any of the front 3 positions in their lineup. So that's the first thing which I think is worth noting here, which is going to be, anyway, we'll talk a little bit about how that's going to fit into Xavi's plans. But then the other thing which we can point out about Vitor Roque, and as far as his strengths go, is that he is a pacey player. He's quick, he has good acceleration, and he has, I would say, considerably high top speed, compared to other players, maybe, especially defenders. And on top of all of that, he's a proper Brazilian, okay? I say he's a proper Brazilian. I mean, he has the flair and he has that ability to dribble. He can beat one, he can beat two men, running with the ball. He has great flair, he has great close control as well. And on top of that, like the kids would say, he's got that dog in him. You know what I mean? Like here, right here, we can see this is an actual X-ray of Vitor Roque, okay? No lies here. Okay, I'm telling you, okay? This is his X-ray from his last medical, okay? And you can see, it's plain to see there, okay? That's the kind of player that he is. So that's to also say that he has great physical strength and he's not afraid of getting physical. He's got that determination, he's got that mental resilience. And if we were to look at weaknesses, because there isn't a player who has no weakness, right? He does have weaknesses. One of the most glaring weaknesses he has is probably his weak foot ability. Like, he's not very good when he has the ball on his left foot. As far as shooting or finishing, he really favors his right foot. That's his stronger foot. And aside from that, of course, talking about feet, he is quite a few feet short of what you would call a tall player. Okay, not quite a few feet, just a few inches, okay? He's 5'7", which isn't that much taller than Lionel Messi. In fact, you could say he's probably just about Messi's height, but if we put this in centimeters, he's 172 centimeters tall. Messi is 170. So, he's not going to be worrying defenders that are taller than, 6 foot. Like, he's definitely not going to be worrying them. And as far as crosses coming into the box, even though he does have, a pretty decent leap on him. Anyway, this is like the basic rundown of who Vitor Roque is as a player. This is what you're looking at. This is what you're getting as FC Barcelona. You're getting a quick player who is strong, who can dribble, who is pretty fast, and who can play anywhere across the front line, but who doesn't have a very good weak foot and who isn't going to be aerially challenging or threatening teams on a regular basis. So that's the basics of what Barcelona has to work with. That's what Xavi has to work with. So now the questions that we have to ask is, how would he fit in with Xavi ball? Okay, and what are some of the things that he does that would make him a success, or which would make him, not succeed? So I'll start with the things that I think would make him succeed. And one of the characteristics that he has, this is something which, of course, you wouldn't be able to know without watching him, but he has a very good ability, and he actually likes to do this as well, where he can drop deep into around the center circle of the midfield area so that he can get the ball. And once he gets the ball, he's able to then turn and to drive with the ball upfield. Now, this is something which I think Xavi will especially love to have in a number 9, okay? It's something which we see from Lewandowski. Lewandowski does this quite a lot, where he'll drop deep, he'll get the ball, and then he'll try and turn and create something for Barcelona. And if you remember, during, Xavi's first season, it's also something that he tried to get Aubameyang to do on several occasions, and Aubameyang just couldn't do it because he wasn't very good with his, back to goal and just generally that hold-up play wasn't a strength that Aubameyang had. Now this, on the other hand, is an actual strength that Vitor Roque has. So having that in his arsenal, I think, is going to be probably maybe the most exciting thing that Xavi will have to work with in as far as this kid is concerned, okay? And that's mostly because he has the strength to shield the ball from defenders. You know, when he gets it played into his feet with his back to their goal, he can hold the ball up, you know, he can hold off the opposition defender. Then on top of that, he is very, very good at turning his defender. Okay, because of that, you know, slight physique that he has. I don't know if slight is the right word here. Let's just say because he's not very tall, he has a low center of gravity. And if you know something about players with a low center of gravity and how easily they can turn around on the ball, then you could see where this is going. It's more or less going to be like, you know, I don't really want to make these comparisons, but remember how Messi, when he was a false nine, would often drop into that midfield area and the opposition defender would try and track him, and in trying to track him, Messi would just take one quick touch and he'd be turning around and he'd be running beyond that defender and into that gaping hole that now exists. And it's pretty much something like that that you can see here from Vitor Roque in these clips that I put in here. You know, he's able to just do that so well, and that's something which is going to be a big help in Xavi's system. Why? Because we know that Xavi wants to play with those high interiors, right? When you're looking at guys like Gavi, guys like Gundogan, and guys like Pedri, right? And I don't know, Kessie, should he still be around? Those are midfielders who know how to time those late runs into the box. And in a situation where the number 9 drops deep, those midfielders are encouraged to make runs into that, you know, space that he has left. So in this scenario, you know, if Vitor Roque drops deep and the defender follows him, he's then able to turn that defender quickly. And if he can find a pass into somebody like Pedri, into somebody like, you know, De Jong or somebody like Gundogan, they can then in turn thread that ball to one of your midfielders who is making that run, one of your high interiors who is making that run in behind the defense. So, you know, with players like Rafinha and Fati as well, they can also make those runs into the space, the same space that Roque would evacuate by dropping deep. So it would add, honestly, a whole new dimension to Barca's game. I would say even more so than when Lewandowski drops deep. And this isn't me taking a shot at Lewandowski, but it's just simply because of how good Vitor Roque is at turning, you know, and dribbling upfield and carrying the ball. Something which Lewandowski can do as well, but he can't do it like a Brazilian, right? Roque can do it like a Brazilian. The next strength of his, or the next characteristic he has, which I think Xavi is going to be very keen to work with as well, is just how good he is in those 1v1 situations. So pair that, okay, with the fact that Xavi, you know, likes to have wingers who can beat their opposing defender. Okay, so he's got strength in those 1v1 situations, you know, dribbling past the man who's marking him. But then on top of that, he also has the versatility to play left wing and right wing. So when you tie those two things together, you know, his strength in 1v1s, it makes him a viable option for Barcelona out wide. And, you know, like I said, Xavi likes playing with wingers who can beat a man or two and then create dangerous situations. And you can see here that's something that he does over and over again. It's something that he's very good at. He can isolate that wing back or that fullback. He can beat him in those 1v1s. And, you know, should he be playing on the left wing, you could imagine he will probably be cutting inside on his right foot, which is his shooting foot. And he has a decent shot on him, actually. He's got a decent finish on him. It's not like the most clinical. I mean, it's not Luis Suarez levels of clinical finishing here, you know, or Lewandowski levels of clinical finishing, but it's very, very serviceable. It's very much something that he can do a lot with. And it's something which I think in Xavi's system is going to serve very well, especially if you can play him with, say, maybe another winger who can invert to occupy a sort of false nine kind of area, because it means that he'll be able to pull wide, and that, you know, the wide man, your winger who's playing as maybe an inside forward, will be able to pull inside, and you know that movement is going to create a lot of chaos for the opposition. Okay, so is it all just, you know, sunshine and rainbows? You know, like, is he just the perfect player and he's going to solve everything Barcelona has? Well, you know, like I said, he does have his weaknesses, and he does have some areas of his game that he's going to have to address in order for him to succeed at Barca. Like I said, the weak foot, that's probably one thing, although, you know, I wouldn't really say like it's the biggest thing. You know, a lot of players have a weak foot and are still phenomenal footballers, Leo Messi, and you know, it's not something which I think would hold him back, but something which I probably think could hold him back is his passing. His passing isn't exactly at the top level. Like, his passing is serviceable for, you know, just spraying the ball around in the 18-yard area, you know, trying to find teammates and that kind of thing. But you know, when you're playing against these higher caliber opponents, you're going to want a bit more measured passes, you know, being pulled off by your number nines. Lewandowski is pretty good at that, and that's something which I think Roque at the moment still struggles with, and something which he can still improve on. Of course, he can maybe, you know, compensate mostly with how he carries the ball, you know, just dribbling past players. Did I mention, by the way, that he's very, very good with the ball in tight spaces? I mean, just look at this here. I don't know how exactly he negotiated this situation without losing the ball, and also being able to just turn around and take that shot to score. So maybe that close control is something that he can use to, in some ways, nullify his inability to pick out a pass, like a really creative pass. But I think if he can carry the ball to somebody like a Pedri or a Gundogan or a De Jong who can pull off such a pass, then, you know, maybe he finds a way around that weakness of his. Otherwise, that is basically that, guys. That's what we can expect to see from Vitor Roque as Barcelona fans. And, you know, even for you, the opponents. Yes, you, Carlo Ancelotti, listening to this, wondering what kind of a beast Barcelona is about to unleash on your team in El Clasico, I've just given you the cheat codes, bro. Like, this is what you can expect to see from Vitor Roque. Anywho, that, guys, is basically that. Like I said, I will be seeing you again in a few days' time when, you know, I'll bring you some updates, either on a transfer or probably, most likely, I think a video talking about what we can expect from Gundogan. So yeah, that should be up by Sunday, I think. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled and keep your notification bells turned on, okay, so you do not miss that upload. But aside from that, once again, for the umpteenth time, thank you all for tuning in. Do have a great day, and Forza Barca.